The Mod Collection's not really known for doing custom finishes on acoustics, but check out Moonvine Glow Hummingbird Custom. It has this very interesting reverse burst going on. For example, normally silver burst would look like this, but if you reverse the colors, it changes everything. And Adam Jones found that out when he did his signature Flying V. Except for this time, it actually appears to be green and like a really dark green rather than complete pitch ebony black. But it really helps that rosette stand out. And then you get your curly Q at the bottom of the fretboard, mother of pearl block inlays, your typical Gibson acoustic headstock. And oh, okay, I didn't notice that on launch day. They did the treatment to the back of the body. However, that's not a bursted pattern on the neck. It actually has a green stinger. They still included that darker area in the center. That's a really cool touch. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. The Demo Shop and Mod Collection update. Outside of Old Moonburst, we also had a Canyon Sunrise for $5,000 on a 64 reissue 335. We've got more of a pale center this time, and then with just a little bit of a yellowish gold-orange tinge to the edge. That appears to be darker down here and lighter towards the top to match the color theme. And then they also threw some gold hardware on it. I feel this would pull off wooden pickup rings really well. But no crazy stingers on this one, just the continuation of our finish and a bare natural mahogany neck. And the regular headstock. But there was one for the lefties in Bronze Fog Metallic. They were certainly one with nature this week, but this time delivering more of a copperish molasses hue on a Gibson USA Junior. And it was a complete refinish. And it was gloss. They upgraded your tuners to the more standard style, throwing black tips on for good measure. These are normally $1,600 brand new. So getting all that and a custom color for $100 off? But our next location is the Teal Terra top. That name reminds me of a Triceratops, so it's cool in my eyes, but it appears to be a slightly metallic blue finish, which appears to also have a very shallow dark border around the edge. But it's an Axcess custom, so you get things like the Floyd Rose, golden pickups, ebony fretboard, all your good Axcess goodies back here, including your heel and comfort cut. However, this looks like it's a black satin on the back. Those gold screws sure do stick out on this model. But there you go, that confirms our satin finish. Serial number DS0171. Dusty Pine Burst. For only $3,500? That looks incredibly good. From far away, I thought it was custom shop. Now we can see some of the Gibson USA elements to it, but whatever. They threw a Bigsby on it that's gold. They capped off your original stop bar stud. They've got a Poison Ivy vibe to it with the really reddish ambered knobs and your tortoiseshell pickguard. But that green burst finish is excellent. It reminds me of this green burst custom shop out of the Mod Collection that we reviewed a couple of years ago. Just a little bit darker and less avocado-y. Playing a little bit more off of this alien green burst Les Paul custom. But we can still see the figured flame pattern underneath, and it's got a really dark rosewood board. But flipping it over, we've got the continuation of that on the back. However, they left the neck red, which complements it nicely. But let's take some time to dissect this one. We're going to space. Jupiter Blast. For $4,800, we've got a 3-pickup Les Paul custom. It's got orange, it's got red, it's got a little bit of a dark border. But count it, 3 P94 pickups. So they're technically humbucker-sized P90s. And if you zoom in on those knobs, it says volume, volume, volume. So you do have independent controls, similar to the 3-pickup Les Paul Supreme. But it looks like they left our headstock alone. Gave us a new serial number of 186, threw some locking Grovers on it just for fun. And the back is more of a cherry red. However, they do have a few more detailed shots that you can look. Yeah, the finish is a little bit weird in that area, but what I'm trying to say is the color. This reminds me of the Gold Burst. Like, you can actually see some metal flakes still within the finish. This was a cool, very shortly lived 80s model that just naturally had some finish issues with it, and most of them had to get refinished. You can learn more in this episode. But they have been doing reissues of this, and they've been calling it like Viceroy Gold Burst or something like that. So I wonder if that's where the mod guys got the idea from. But now we gotta take a trip to the billiards hall with Pool Shark Satin. It's a Les Paul special that they got, well, what I would say quirky with. You get the mini humbucker in the neck, regular P90 in the bridge, gave you the cream plastics to kind of match each other, tortoiseshell pickguard with clear knobs, and what looks like a satin metallic green hue. And it's hard to tell, but it looks like they also matched the headstock a very dark green. They gave you a Les Paul standard style tuner tips, and it was a complete refinish. It's certainly very different from the stock format for $1,800. So $200 premium for some fun, and it found a home. But then they had some more fun with this custom shop SG Junior. It's the glowworm that led our journey. So it's a baby blue finish, golden knobs, cream P90 cover, wrap tail piece, looks like a new custom tortoiseshell style pickguard. I feel like this one could pull off one of those pinup girl stickers for our rockabilly vibe. But flipping it over to the back, it's all the same color. They didn't mess with our tuners. However, they did mess with the headstock. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's got the crown for some reason. But it's a little bit lower than usual, so it looks distinct. And if you look at a picture of a real glowworm, I guess I can see what they were going for. They all have their own unique hue to them. But now it's time for the UK side of things. They swung pretty hard this week. Red Widow Satin 339. Fall season's the best for mod collections because they like to have fun. So you get the Widow treatment to get the red colored binding. I know it looks black in the center here, but it's like the Les Paul Custom Stealth that we just talked about, where it's probably actually a really, really deep red color. And they gave us the uncovered pickups. You got the voodoo style knobs over here. The binding on the neck got the same treatment. Nice, they did a custom truss rod cover as well as matching our Gibson logos and blacking out the tuner tip. And as far as these finishes go, it looks relatively clean from this angle. Sometimes these Widows look better from far away, but again, as far as these finishes go, they actually did a pretty nice job on it. If you're in the market for a Halloweeny vibed 339 for €3,200. But next they called this one Electric Orange. It's an 80s Explorer. We got clear knobs and a new orange finish. No binding, including the matching back. This just reminds me of the Nitrous series. We had one in the Trade Tuesday series. I bet it would look similar to this in person. But they give you a slightly more saturated Gibson headstock logo to match. But reading our description, looks like they changed it out for 57 classic pickups, and that definitely appears to be more of a satin finish. But it does look like it found a new loving home. And then an SG special in Cyan satin. I think we all know what this is. It's a Tony Iommi that's been converted to have Firebird pickups, or is it pole pieceless mini humbuckers? The description says mini humbucker. It also says apparently they're coil splittable with push-pull pots, so that does make it unique. They upgraded it with a pigtail wraparound. However, I would have questions whether that is accurately intonated or not. But you got a cool blue headstock. I like that. Nice and sparkly. Ebony tuner tips. And it's just a satin blue refinish. So if you wanted one of the Tony Iommi Blue Monkey SG, you could technically get it. They're not going to advertise it as that because Tony has not said, yeah, you can make these in blue now. But sometimes you find these guys having fun with the blemished models. But now what was the demo shop up to? They had one of those Lizzie Hale Explorer birds. Sadly, these things just did not get a lot of love from the general audience outside of huge Hailstorm fans. But I wanted to share this one because what happened there? Like, that is not normal. And totally now why it's in the demo shop. This SG200 was an elite dog. It's got abalone rosette, abalone inlay on your mustachioed bridge. You've got the abalone crown inlays. You even got the abalone dots on the pickguard. And how about we also throw it on the headstock and have Grover Imperial tuners? If you want to be a fancy country gentleman, I guess this is the way you go. But you get a little bit of a break from that on the back as far as your nice rosewood. There was a standard 50s and P90 configuration. Generally, these are gold tops, so it was nice to see that there is a red version that they blacked out all the plastics too. They had a 67 reissue Flying V. 4400 is not too bad for one of those. If you're looking for one after talking about the Hendrix Epiphone this week, as well as the Gibson Custom Shop Love drops. The standard 60s, it had a pretty nice top. They threw clear knobs on it. Gave you the junior style tuners. Then there was another one of the 80s White Explorers, still waiting for the first quality ones to come in. But I always like to check the serial numbers. Looks like this one was made in early 2024. They also had an ebony one for considerably less. But I was actually impressed by this 60 standard Bourbon Burst. 2100 was not a bad price to begin with, but that's a really good top for that color. And the Les Paul custom style pickguard and the ambered over knobs with gold hardware really just brings this to a whole new level. Usually I'm not a big fan of the tri-bursted colors like that, but this one works incredibly well. But they actually did that on 2 models. But this one was considerably more expensive, but still went. It's a 60s Lemon Burst, and wow. I think that's the best top I've ever seen on one of those. Because usually they're kinda weak. But again, maybe it's the reflector knobs and the custom pickguard that help bring out the darkness of the flames. Because otherwise, the fretboard actually is rather light. But the back, nice and red. Then I'll leave you with a very strange looking modern studio in satin iced tea. It was $1,600. I clicked on it totally thinking it was one of the old tributes. It just has a really plain top, no binding on the body. It's got junior style tuners, but no, sure enough, it's got the comfort cut swoop, the Gibson mother of pearl logo, modern 2024 serial number. I know it doesn't look like there's binding, but if you really zoom in there, yep, there is a layer of black. All right, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.